Hello, good morning, students. Today we are going to cover the rest part of the chapter where we left. Okay, so last time we studied about colonialization, then which dates are important, how important are dates. Okay, so today we will study about the sources from where we get to know about the history and how do we know about the people living in the past, okay, who used to live in the past. How do we know about that people कि कैसे रहते थे, means how do we come to know, because history is so old. So let's see what sources were there through which we were able to read about the people of the past. So, first is administration produces records. So, you know that Indian history is quite old. It is last 250 years of Indian history is there, and it is divided into medieval, ancient, and modern. Okay, so how do we know about the last 250 years of Indian history? Because it is very difficult to know about the past. How do the people live during that time? So it was like, that officials were there during the British administration. So officers, they used to keep their official records. Okay, official records of the British administration, how it was done. Every instruction, plan, policy, decision, agreement, investigation had to be clearly written up. Okay, so it was like official records of the British administration was one of the important source of studying about the history. So the Britisher believed, उनको ऐसा लगता था, so Britishers used to think that the act of writing was very important, means what all they used to do during that time. So every action, every plan, policy, what all they were doing, so they used to keep all that in the records in written. And once this was done, so things could be properly studied and debated. And this conviction produced an administrative culture of memos, notings, and reports. Memos. What are memos? Memos are short handwritten observations. Okay. So you can say short written message also, short written message which are used in businesses. Okay, officially messages which were sent to from one official to another, so that were called memos. So every instruction, plan, policy, decision, agreement, investigation had to be clearly written up. So what all they were doing, that they used to record in written, and all important documents and letters were carefully preserved. So this was done during the British administration. They used to keep the record of everything what they used to do in written, and record rooms were also there. So British felt that all important documents and letters needed to be carefully preserved. Now they are keeping the record in written, so that record had to be carefully preserved also. And where would they be preserving that records? So they set up record rooms. So record rooms were attached to all the administrative institutions like village tehsildar's office, collectorate, commissioner's office, and law courts. So all had their record rooms where they used to keep their written documents. And specialized institutions like archives and museums were also established to preserve important records. So what are archives? Archives are the places where people can go to gather the facts, data, or evidences from the letters. It's just like museum only, but little bit different from the museum. So you can say letters and memos of various branches were also preserved. So what all they used to do, reports, instructions, so they all used to preserve it in the record rooms. Notes and reports that district officials prepared, and any instruction directives. So what all they felt that it was important steps, so that all were kept in the record rooms, and from there we are able to study about them more clearly. Okay, so these documents were carefully copied out and beautifully written by calligraphists. Calligraphists are the people who can write in an artistic, creative way. So, with the spread of printing, multiple copies of these records were printed for the proceedings of each government department. Okay, so in your book also, it's one figure is there, figure 4. In that it is shown the National Archives of India came up in the 1920s. So in 1920s, National Archives of India came up. When New Delhi was built, the National Museum and the National Archives were both located close to the Viceregal Palace, and this location reflects the importance these institutions had in British imagination. So these institutions were quite important because all the important documents were preserved there. Next was surveys also become important. So first important source was that official records kept by the British government, and next is survey. So surveys also become important. Now what is a survey? Survey means examining an area, examine and record the area and features of any land. Okay, so another important source of writing history was surveys. So what is survey? Recording and examining of a particular area or any subject, etc. So British believed, so this practice of surveying, it became very important, it became common under the colonial administration. The Britishers believed that a country had to be properly known before it could be effectively administered. Means they came to India, they were going to rule over that, and before ruling anything you should have a knowledge about that particular area or subject. So same thing the Britishers felt. They felt that a country had to be properly known before it could be effectively administered. So by the early 19th century, detailed surveys were being carried out to map the entire country. Okay, so detailed surveys were done of India, what kind of topography is there, what kind of climate is there, what kind of flora, fauna, local histories, cropping pattern. So everything was examined. And in the villages revenue surveys were conducted. Okay, so revenue surveys were conducted, and in these surveys they used to study about the topography, soil quality, the flora, the fauna, the local history, and the cropping pattern were carried out. Then census operation began to held after every 10 years. Census operation means population count. Okay, you must have come to know in the villages people come to ask about the family income, about the family members, how many brothers sisters are there, what are they doing, what are they earning. So this whole data is prepared after every 10 years to know about the people of that country. So census, that is called census operations. They were held after every 10 years, and these prepared detailed records of the number of people in all the provinces of India, noting the information, which castes are they and what occupation they are in. So there were many other surveys also, like botanical surveys regarding plants, okay, flora, zoological surveys, that is fauna, animal life, archaeological surveys, ancient studies, anthropological surveys. What is anthropology? Means to study the tribes of the area and their communities, or to study and preserve the human skeletal also human skeletal remains. Okay, so they all come under anthropological surveys. And forest surveys, in which they used to study about how much forest area is there and what kind of trees are there, so everything. So before ruling any country, or before you can say administering any area, one must have the wholesome knowledge about that area. So for that surveys were done. Okay, so second important source are surveys. First was official records and second were surveys. Now last topic is, before that there's one figure 5 in your book. I want you to open your books also with you. So figure 5, a custard apple plants in 1770s. Botanical gardens and natural history museums established by the British collected plant specimens and information about their uses, and local artists were asked to draw pictures of these specimens. Historians are now looking at the way such information was gathered and what this information reveals about the nature of colonialism. Okay, so this is about surveys. Now last topic is that now we come to know that okay fine, official records were there, surveys were done to know the people, to know the area. Now what official records do not tell? See, official means the records kept by the officers. Okay, that means the official life. Okay, but what about the other people who were living there at the same time? Peasants, tribal people. Okay, so they were also there, but these official records do not tell anything about them. So from the heading only, history was written according to the perspective of the British government. I told you that whatever focus you will keep, so that part of the history will become important to you. Okay, so if you will just focus on the British government, British history, then from that perspective you will write. Okay, then history written according to the perspective of the British government. Absence of Indian perspective. So there was an absence of Indian perspective, means what were the Indian people doing at the time of the British government. So that part is neglected. So that was not told in the official records. So official record tells us what the officers thought, what they were interested in, and what they wish to preserve for posterity. Posterity means for the future generations, or for the future generations what to be preserved. But reality may be different, because at the same time there were Indian people also there. So history must be looked from other perspective also. Okay, so we have to study the history from other perspective also, not only from the British point of view. So from the vast corpus, corpus means collection of written texts. So from the vast corpus of records we can get to know a lot, but we must remember that these are the official records. They tell about only about official things, what they thought, what they were interested, what they wish to do for their all future generations. So these records do not always help us understand what other people in the country felt, means there were other people also living there, no, and what lay behind their actions. For that we need to look somewhere else. So what do we have then? What do we have to know about those people? So for that, when we begin to search for these other sources, we find them in plenty. So many other sources are there through which we can study about Indian people also. Like we have diaries of people, accounts of pilgrims and travelers also. Okay, autobiographies of important personalities and popular booklets. So they were sold in the local bazaars. So these all things were present. Diaries of people means um, the rich kings were there at that time. Okay, the rulers, the nawabs, so they used to write their things in their diaries. So that diaries were very quite precious. So that diaries were kept, they were preserved, and from there we get to know about the people of India. Then accounts of pilgrims, you know that pilgrims also, from Chinese pilgrims also came, and travelers also came. So autobiographies of important personalities, those pilgrims who came, they we have read that they used to bring diaries with them, and they used to note down all the things which they did in India, which they saw in India. So that account they wrote in their diaries, and from their diaries act like sources from where we can get to know about Indian history also. and travelers also who came. So they wrote about autobiographies of important personalities and popular booklets that were sold in the local bazaars. So as printing spread, so you know that printing process came later on. So as printing spread, newspapers were published and issues were debated in public. Leaders and reformers, they wrote to spread their ideas. Poets and novelists wrote to express their feelings. So they used to write, but still there is one drawback. What is the drawback? Means, you know that all the people were not educated at that time, all the people were not literate. So these were the things which we can know from the literate people only. All these sources, however, were produced by those who were literate, who could write. So those who have written the diaries, their autobiographies. But what about the people who were illiterate, who could not write anything? So from these we will not be able to understand how history was experienced and lived by the tribals and the peasants. So tribal people, the peasants, small farmers, they were not educated, so they did not write anything. So how do we know about their history also then? So and the workers also who used to work in the mines, poor on the streets, so getting to know their lives is a more difficult task. But still it will be done if we make a little bit of efforts. You know that it is said that if you want something, you have to go after it, and if you have determined to get that, to know that, then definitely the whole universe will work for you, in favor of you, to get the things bring to you. So when you read this book, you'll see how this can be done. This can be you will study about this in the later chapters, that how these illiterate people, from how do we came to know about their history, about the tribals history, about the peasants history. Okay, so till now this is the end of your chapter. Okay, so what we have studied in this chapter, again I'm telling you, so this chapter is just you can say giving you the importance of studying history, that why do we study history. And history is not only about remembering the dates. Again I'm repeating, it is more to it. It is more about events, it is more about changes. Okay, so what all we learnt in this chapter? What we learned, that how important are dates. Okay, then which dates are important, how do we periodize. We learned about James Mill periodization, and there were some problems also in his periodization, that also we have studied. Then we came to know about what is colonial rule, British rule, colonization. Okay, then if someone's land is acquired and ruled over by some other country. Then next, today we studied about administration produces records, that what were the sources that through which one could study about history of India. So there were official records were there. Then next, surveys were also important. The Britishers, they used to do lot of surveys before implementing anything or before ruling any area. So they used to have a full knowledge of that area, that are called surveys. And next was what official records do not tell, because it is not only the history from the British point of view, there was Indian perspective also. That means we had to study the history from Indian point of view also. At that time, what Indian people were doing, what they were earning, what actions they were doing. So that all we there were some other sources also, that like diaries were there. Okay, then accounts of pilgrims, travelers, autobiographies of important personalities. From there we came to know about Indian perspective also. But still there was a drawback, that this was only for literate people. Then for illiterate people, tribal, peasants, so how this was done? So you know that sometimes when any digging is there somewhere, so while digging, you sometimes people happen to find some precious coins. Okay, or any old tools. So if any farming tool is found in the ground, so that means there was a history of peasants. So this is how it was linked. Okay, so it was a general you can say thing, that how do we study history? Because history is very old. We are studying about 250 years of back history, and it is not like that what all we are studying, it is as it is said to us by the people who used to live that time. It is a link. Okay, so there were mediums, there were sources through which we are studying about Indian history, and it is quite interesting also to know about the past. Okay, so this was all about the chapter. So now you have to do the assignment part. Okay, do it carefully and do your work properly. Okay, so till then, take care and goodbye.